Alright, here we go. So, I did this once and it didn't go so well because I ranted on too long. So, let me try to condense this as best as possible, basically. I already ranted a bit too much. Anyway, so, this is in response to Flutterstar's video. I was actually waiting for Rick the Gamer to post a video with his thoughts on the show, but I'm assuming he's just as busy as any regular person would be, so he's probably doing more important things right now than putting up a YouTube video. Something I should probably be doing, but I'm a bit sick, so I'm home from school, and I figured this would be a good opportunity. So, everyone probably knows of the new My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. We all know that, or at least we should by now, that Lauren Faust, who, did her work on Powerpuff Girls, the animation for the Iron Giant, and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, clearly a woman with a lot of background, was given the series and was asked to reboot it so Hasbro could start selling their toys again. Oddly enough, I don't know any bronies that actually buy the toys because we're more into the shirts and stuff. Which, by the way, this is my little derpy shirt that I got at Comic-Con. It's very, well, it's derpy. Anyway, so clearly there's no hiding on it. Obviously a brony. Now that we got that out of the way, let's move on. So, I guess the first bit I'm gonna get into, since I don't need to get into the background. The Know Your Meme video on my phone has all that if you really want to if you need to know about it. How did I become a brony? How the hell did somebody who's, well, I can't say I'm very hateful of cute things, but I didn't expect to become part of this fan base, and I'm sure nobody else did, but I was, one of the many who just sucked in. So, originally how this happened was I saw the Friendship is Magic bitch video, well, bronies know what it is, and probably other people do, too. It has this sort of Charlie the Unicorn element, a random, somewhat sadistic humor to it, but it's a fun watch. I suggest anyone, even if you don't like the show, go watch it. It's interesting to see. Even I know people who aren't bronies that love the video because it's really that funny. It's really stupid though. Just warning. If you don't like nonsensical humor, it's not for you. It is creative humor though. If you do watch the show, it does have a little, obvious nods to all the fans. Anyway, I watched that video and I thought it was funny. I didn't realize what it was from though. Later on, I started seeing more My Little Pony stuff on the internet, and I'm like, what is this? I'm seeing this all over the place. I have to know what this shit is. So I find the, another Bronies, which is spelled BROWNIES video, showing these, really middle-aged fat guy and two other guys, in a store that, jump a little girl for the toy. And I thought it was funny, but I didn't realize it was really, Bronies was a term at the point. So I see the Know Your Meme video on My Little Pony. I'm like, Know Your Meme? Okay, if they made a video on this, because they don't even make videos for other things, this has to be big if they made a video on it. I check it out, I learn on the background, I learn about the terms, and I'm like, wow, shit, this exists. I thought it was a little weird at first. How could anyone who's not a little girl like the show? I had the initial reaction anybody would. And especially because I was very much a cynic at the time. And I'm still a bit skeptical about anything I see, but I saw the video, I thought, okay, weird, and then I had a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, really. I didn't know he was a brony. I knew he was a bit of a weeaboo, but it was more an affectionate way of saying a weeaboo. He wasn't die hard, I love Japan, desu, 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 desu on me. So, I find out he's a brony, and he was like, help me, because he loves the show so much. But he didn't really, hate himself for it. He just mentioned it once. So after a while, he keeps making these jokes. He's sending me, response images of things with pony stuff in it, or showing me things that have been ponified, I'm seeing anime characters that have been ponified, comic book characters, anything. I even see, a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog racing a pony, and I'm like, what the hell? Is there a pony that's super fast or something? He's like, yeah, it's Rainbow Dash. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, I'm interested now. I'm wondering what this is, but he told me, just when you're bored someday, go watch it. And you know, one day I had nothing better to do. I asked him, alright, can you send me a link? Or maybe he just sent it to me, I don't know how it went, but whatever. I saw the first few episodes, thought it was alright, didn't really think it was for me. But I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty good for a kid show, considering all the shit we have nowadays. We barely have any cartoons, so it was nice to see something I didn't think sucked. I haven't seen Adventure Time, by the way, so I really don't have an opinion on that, but I know it's gotten a lot of rep. I guess I'm not gonna check it out because from what I've heard, it's a lot of random humor, which I can't deal with constant random humor after a while. It does wear on me, but whatever. That's something else. So getting back to the point, I watched the first few episodes, didn't think anything special about it, and then I noticed the Sonic Rainboom episode, and I know when he mentioned my friend mentioned the Sonic Rainboom thing to me. When he was saying Sonic's going at Sonic speed, Rainbow Dash is going at Rainboom speed. I'm like, what? I didn't know what it meant at the time. So I checked out this episode, especially because Rainbow Dash was the interesting pony to me. She was the tomboy of the group, and I guess I kind of have a thing for the tomboy characters. So I had to see what this was, and you know, her episode. So I check it out. I'm already laughing at the. There's nice creative writing in that episode, especially for the first bit with Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash, but I digress. So, I see the episode and I'm like, whoa, my god, that was amazing, that was so cool, why was that cool? It's like a little baby horse girl toy thing, why am I liking it so much? So I saw that episode and I thought, wow, that was great, and that kind of raised my expectations of the show, so now I have to watch more. And I barely ever do this with anything. I usually will never sit down and watch a show for such an extended period of time. I've only done this with The Walking Dead, when I watched the whole season 1 with my father and my stepmom and a couple other people when I was visiting him, all in one day, in like a 6-hour sitting pretty much, or 5.5, however long it takes to watch season 1. I've done this with, I think I kind of did this with Clannon, but it was more in like a 4-day increment of watching season 1, so it wasn't all in one shot. I did this with the Spider-Man animated series because of the huge nostalgia I got out of it. But anyway, the point is, I don't usually ever do this. So I started watching from like episode 6, I think, and I got all the way up to like episode 23, just in like one day. Just shot past all these episodes. Except the Sonic Rainbow one, because I already saw it, so I skipped that one. But I watched like a whole mess of these episodes, just one back to back to back to back to back, over and over, and I was like, whoa, I'm mesmerized by the show. But it's still not my favorite show ever. I want to make that a point. It's not the best show I've ever seen. There's still other shows I like very much. I think the reason I got into it so much is because I had such low expectations that when it exceeded that by far, I was just like, but it's not the best show I've ever seen at all. I mean, there's still things like Teen Titans or Batman the Animated Series that have blown my mind further, because not only did I have high expectations, but they exceeded those, and they kept with it the whole time. But anyway, back to the point of My Little Pony. So I see the show, I think it's great, I got very into it, and then I got into the fan base more. I started hearing about the story Cupcakes like everybody else did, and because I have a very strong interest in horror, considering some of one of my favorite games is Silent Hill 2. The scariest game I played was Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I love The Exorcist, the first one anyway, and one of my favorite animes was When They Cry, or Higurashi no Nakukuro ni. So I checked that out.